Hello everyone, back tuning into today's video. We're going to have a look at the weather for the next week to 10 days, or today's video. This will take us to around the 26th of December, so to Boxing Day. And of course, we'll be able to extend out beyond that with the extended GFS at Ensemble as they run to around a couple of weeks. And we'll have a look at CFSV2 late on in the video. For the next 4 weeks, that will take us well into January, of course. We're going to begin with the latest developments in the stratosphere over North Pole. I haven't looked at this for a little while, so I thought we'd start with the stratosphere today. So this from the JMA, it's showing the latest temperature at 10 HPA over the North Pole. The grey line is the trend for this time of the year, so we're birch at the coldest time of the year now. On average, in terms of the temperature at 10 HPA in the stratosphere over the North Pole. That's one of the top levels of the atmosphere in the stratosphere. We're virtually as cold as we're going to get at this point of the year on average. From around sort of mid to late January, the temperature will start to recover through the first half of the year. So the black line, though, shows where temperatures have been and where they are right now for this season. So we can begin here in September, a little bit cold on average in September. And that's where we are right now, significantly colder than average. Actually, the temperature's gone down to minus 80 at 10 HPA in the stratosphere over North Pole. So I've got a very, very cold temperature indeed. It's around 10 degrees cold on average at this point of the year. You'd normally expect to be kind of like around minus 70. So we're under that by around 10 degrees. Very, very cold temperature at 10 HPA, which would normally be associated with an increase in the polar vortex and a strengthening of the zone of westerlies. If you go a little bit lower down to 30 HPA, that's how things are looking. And again, very cold right now. So you can see that black line is just here. It's gone underneath minus 80. So again, that's a very cold temperature at 30 HPA, a little bit lower down into the tropospheric level, or towards the tropospheric level. So this is telling us that we've got a very cold temperature in the upper atmosphere, in both the troposphere and also going up into stratosphere. Temperatures are very cold in these layers of the atmosphere over the North Pole. And this would normally be associated with a strengthening of the polar vortex, and the polar vortex is what drives the westerlies. So this is a signal essentially for mild westerly, potentially quite stormy weather right now in terms of the temperature at 10 HPA. Let's see what the GFS is forecasting to happen over the next couple of weeks. It's at metroseal.fr. So where we've got these purple colours, these blues and purples, these are the cold temperatures that we've got at 10 HPA. It's a little bit warmer around the edges of the Arctic, but over the Arctic and the North Pole itself, very cold temperatures as low as minus 84 in some areas. Let's see what's forecast with the latest GFS run to happen. So as we run up towards Christmas, we keep these cold temperatures going at 10 HPA. So up to Christmas Eve, we're still at around minus 80 to minus 84 here. No sign of any warming of the stratosphere up to that point. And then going to the extended range with the GFS, again, we just keep the cold temperatures going, really, to 10 HPA. No sign of any sort of significant warming taking place. If anything, Pat's suggesting to go even colder there as we get through to New Year's Day. We're going down to around minus 88, close to minus 90 there on the Atlantic side of the Arctic anyway. So if we went down to minus 90 on this scale, that would take the black line to around here, to that sort of level. So very cold temperatures at 10 HPA right now, and it looks like we're going to keep very cold temperatures going at 10 HPA for the next couple of weeks. There's no sign of any warming of the stratosphere up to New Year's Day. So it's very early days, of course, to get us some stratospheric warming. Last year we did have it early. We had it over Christmas and New Year. We're not going to get that this year if this is right. So it's going to be further on into the winter before we get any significant warming of the stratosphere. As I say, it gets more common, you would expect it to happen later on in winter. So, again, very early days for any warming of the stratosphere. More generally, it happens further on into winter you go. Sometimes it doesn't even happen until you get into the spring. But we shall keep looking, and we'll see whether we do eventually get a significant warming of the stratosphere. At the moment, though, there's no sign of it, and if anything, we're going to see very cold temperatures continuing in the stratosphere over the North Pole. These are the GFS upper air temperature. No, not. These are the 500 millibar height anomaly flowcharts from Penn State University. We've got the ECMWF on the top, and the GFS, which I'll have in a moment, is on the bottom. So 500 millibars is an area in the atmosphere where high pressure and low pressure are being moved around by the jet stream running above. Red and orange extrapolates to above average heights, which is high pressure. Blue extrapolates to below average heights, which is low pressure. These are the mean flow charts for the 7 to 10 day time frame, which is covering the Christmas period up to the 26th, up to Boxing Day. So the ECM looks unsettled. Below average heights continue to move in from the Atlantic, along with the jet stream as well. So that's keeping things pretty unsettled really through to the Christmas period. There is some high pressure to the north, despite the fact that we've got those very cold temperatures in the stratosphere. We do have a bit of high pressure up towards Greenland. I don't think it's enough to produce anything particularly cold up to this point. But I suppose it could be a little bit on the cool side, as the jet stream perhaps is a little bit to the south of the UK, so just about on the cold side of the jet stream. Just generally looking quite unsettled, really. GFS is very similar. So again, the below average heights are coming through from the Atlantic into the west of Europe. The centre of the low pressure is around here, where the deepest of the blue is. But we've got jet stream coming in from the Atlantic into west of Europe. So again, suggesting that it's quite unsettled really for the Christmas period. Maybe not as wet as it has been, but certainly on the unsettled side. Maybe a little bit on the cool side as well, as I think we can see from the black lines and the lines just here, that we're just about on the cold side of the jet stream. That's just about to our south. Although, again, we're not pulling in anything truly cold, sort of Arctic or Siberian. Just a little bit unsettled and cool, I suppose, around the Christmas period. These are the GFS upper air temperature and precipitation ensemble sets. Couple of weeks. We're at London today. Red line is the 30-year upper air temperature average for London. We're starting off close to average at the moment. We're going to see things getting much milder in the second half of the week before into the weekend. Temperatures drop back. And then we get towards the Christmas period and beyond. That's just there from Christmas to New Year. And then we've got a bit of a split appearing within the GFS ensemble. So we talked about this in the videos quite a bit over recent updates. So the main thrust of the cluster is up here, which is relatively mild, above the 30-year temperature average. But there is a significant minority option, these ones just here, to turn things quite a lot colder through this Christmas week. So Christmas and up to New Year still not completely sorted out yet within the model output. There is a split there that is evident. Most, I have to say, of the GFS ensemble members are on the milder side. So we have to say that the most likely outcome is for things to be quite mild between Christmas and New Year. But we can't completely discount these colder options just here. There are quite a few of them. Whilst it's a minority, it's a significant minority, if you see what I mean. So we could get something colder over Christmas and up to New Year. But I think overall the GFS ensembles are probably favouring mild conditions up to the New Year, and continue to be quite unsettled as well. So plenty of precipitation spikes coming up. We've got quite a bit of rain in the southeast likely today, tonight and into tomorrow. And then the rest of the country turns quite wet later on in the week and into the weekend, and going up towards Christmas. Regular bouts of rain coming through, indicated by those precipitation spikes. Haven't got the anomaly maps to show you today, so we'll move straight on to the generic charts. This is how the GFS 6 o'clock run is looking for Thursday. Low pressure heading in off the Atlantic. There'll be a band of rain moving eastwards on Thursday. And then into Friday and the weekend, more low pressure churning away from the Atlantic. The lows just keep coming. This is a week's time, Monday the 23rd of December. Quite a nasty little area of low pressure then heading in towards Ireland. That's likely to bring another soak in starting in around a week's time. That's Christmas Eve, looking rather showery, a little bit on the cool side in the north, near normal temperatures further south. That's Christmas Day. So at this point, low pressure beginning to dig southwards. We are on the cool side of the jet stream. We can see from the black line here that the jet stream is 2 hours out. It won't be desperately cold because there's no blocking to force true Arctic or Siberian air southwards. But it will be quite cool. The air is originating from the North Atlantic, so from sort of south of Greenland, that sort of area. It will be quite chilly if that's right. Quite a chilly Christmas Day. Plenty of sunshine, maybe some wintry showers up in the north. That's Boxing Day. Again, looking quite chilly. Not desperately cold, but certainly a seasonal sort of feel. That's 27th of December, so just a little bit beyond day 10. It's time to build up some high pressure then. And winds are in from the north to northeast. So quite cold actually under that ridge of high pressure. That will bring an increasing risk of frost as we move out of Christmas and into the Christmas to New Year period. Still under high pressure for Saturday 28th, but by the time we get through to Sunday 29th, we're beginning to pull in some milder air from the Atlantic. That doesn't last all that long though, and we're back to quite chilly conditions by New Year actually. So this is as far as we can get to with the 6 o'clock GFS run. It's the 1st of January 2020, New Year's Day. We've got high pressure to our west. We're pulling down quite a cold northerly wind, probably cold enough for snow showers in northern and eastern parts of the country. Bear in mind, that's 384 hours away, so it's a very long way off. But it's a suggestion that it's rather on the cool side anyway, with this GFS run between Christmas and New Year. This is GEM. So quite wet and windy on Thursday, staying unsettled into the weekend with just more areas of low pressure continuously coming in from off the Atlantic, keeping the deluge going, running up towards Christmas. That's Christmas Eve, so there's another low sitting to our southwest. That could bring some quite heavy rain with it. That's Christmas Day, looking cool and showery. That's Boxing Day, trying to build up a little bit of a ridge from the southwest on Boxing Day. I think quite cold air though, so it'll be chilly if that's right, and I would expect night frost and sort of frost early and late, that kind of weather for Boxing Day. And then this is ECMWF, looking again rather wet and windy for Thursday, but at least it will be mild. Into Friday and the weekend, low pressure just keeps coming, so there's no end to the deluge up to the weekend. More low pressures pushing in off the Atlantic. Early next week stays unsettled. That's Christmas Eve, quite cool and showery. That's Christmas Day. So sort of in between really. We're neither particularly mild or particularly cold with that. A little bit on the showery side for the north. Otherwise, a lot of dry weather. Temperatures probably close to average. That's Boxing Day. So slightly less of a northwesterly influence on Boxing Day, but we are under this little ridge here, so it probably turns mostly dry for Boxing Day and a little bit on the cool side with the risk of night frost. But again, nothing particularly cold coming up there, very little in the way of snow away from sort of northern high ground or Scottish mountains. This is the precipitation forecast based on that ECM run from Tometeo.com. So today we've got a little bit of rain in the southeast and some wintry showers up to the northwest. Let's run through. You can see that tonight we're going to get this wet weather going in the southeast. So East Anglia, southeast England, generally to the east of London, turning very wet overnight into tomorrow morning before that pulls out of the way. And then we're going to a rather drier interlude through the middle part of next week. However, you'll notice the rain is gathering out to the west on Wednesday. As we go through to Thursday, in comes this rain across the country. Some quite heavy, persistent rain then. And we're just going to a very wet spell of weather. So this is 20th of December. Heavy rain pushing up from the south across England and Wales. Another pulse of very heavy rain there. Again, particularly affecting England and Wales on the 20th of December. A little bit of hill snow could be mixed in with that in the north and west. This is 21st of December. Yes, another bout of rain, particularly affecting England and Wales. Once again, this is all very similar to what happened in November, when the wettest of weather tended to be further southwards. It looks like we're doing it all over again as we're running up towards Christmas, with rain particularly affecting England and Wales. This is 23rd of December, another massive rain again, particularly for England and for Wales. Wintry showers further north and west. And then as we move up towards Christmas Eve, we go rather showery for Christmas Eve. They might be a little bit wintry, those showers in the far north and west. And then Christmas Day, well, we've got another area of heavy rain just flirting with the far south and southeast. Most of that is actually kept away from us, but obviously it's quite a way off, and we would have to keep a close eye on where that wet weather's going for Christmas Day. And then we finish up on Boxing Day. It's a midnight Boxing Day, so a little bit on the drier side by then, but I don't think it'll be too long before the next batch of rain is on its way in. These are the options that are on the table within the ECM ensembles today for Day 10, which is Boxing Day, 26th of December. So we have 18 members of the ECM ensembles with, this from the Icelandic Met Office, by the way, have 18 members of the ECM ensembles with high pressure to our north, low pressure to our west, and some high pressure to our south. It's a complicated pattern, but essentially we're trying to turn things a little bit drier with those 18, and probably a little bit on the cool side as well. 15 members of the ECM ensembles, including the operational run. That's the run we've just been looking at, with below average heights to the east and some weak above average heights to the west. That's a little bit drier and a bit on the cool side as well. 13 with a deep area low pressure over the country. Obviously they're going to be very unsettled. And then we've got 5 members of the ECM ensembles that are very different. They have high pressure to the north over Scandinavia, and they'll be bringing in a much colder northeasterly type wind. So that's a minority option. But they'd be cold for the Christmas period, certainly for Boxing Day. In 2 weeks' time, these are the options that we've got, only 2 of them. So we have, this is New Year's Eve, by the way, 31st of December. We have 32 members of the ECM ensembles with an area of above average height centred over the country and much of Northern Europe as well. That's going to be dry but cold for New Year. That will bring frost and fog potentially for the new year. And then we've got 19 members of the ECM ensembles with low pressure to the east and also to the west, and some above average heights to the southwest. So trying to settle things down a little bit with those ensemble members, but just delaying that process of getting high pressure going. Talked about this in a video yesterday. It does look as though sometime between Christmas and New Year we may get a pattern change. We might break out of this very unsettled spell of weather and go to a more significant area of high pressure. How long that would last for, of course, remains to be seen. But there are still definite hints here that we could see something both drier and potentially a little bit colder as we go beyond Christmas through to New Year, if that high pressure gets going. Finally, the CFS-V2, so these are 500 millibar heights broken down into weekly periods. The first weekly period will take us from the 15th to the 21st of December. The coming week is unsettled. Low pressure continues to be dominating the weather, so no change really. Regular bouts of rain coming through, reasonably mild, but very wet, particularly so for southern and western parts of the country. These unsettled conditions are maintained into week 2, which is the 22nd to the 8th of December, covering Christmas. Low pressure continues to be dominating over and to west of the country. We do have blocking up to the north. We've got higher than average pressure around Greenland and to the north of us, but not in a position really to produce anything particularly cold due to the way that the blocking and the low pressure are aligned. So although we're on the cool side of the jet stream is going down there, it's reasonably mild still and very unsettled. Big change for week 3. This is the 29th of December to the 4th of January. A large area of high pressure then sets up to our east-northeast, and that could well start to turn the wind into the east. So again, hints are there for some sort of pattern change around New Year to something potentially more anticyclonic, something drier, but also maybe colder If it starts to draw the air in from the continent, it will cool down very, very quickly. And then we go through to week 4, which is the 5th to the 11th of January, and this pattern change is maintained as above average heights continue to be sitting over the top of the UK, bringing no doubt a lot of dry weather, but also potentially some quite cold conditions with frost and fog too. If we looked at the model's temperature forecast, I'm sure it would go for above average temperatures, but I think that's quite a coldish scenario there for the end of December and into early January, but only cold in the form of frost and fog, not cold in the form of snow, as there's no true sort of Arctic or Siberian wind. But nevertheless, it is quite a change, and it would have, at the very least, break us out of this deluge that we've been stuck under really since the end of September. This deluge has been going on. So it's quite a significant change that the CFS is seeing there around Christmas to New Year to something drier and also a little bit colder from frost and fog, albeit not particularly not particularly snowy, not particularly wintry, but definite change to something drier and a little bit colder from frost and fog for New Year and into early January. But before then, we've got more bouts of rain to go, and up to Christmas looks very, very unsettled indeed, and then we might see some sort of change as we go from Christmas through to the New Year. I'm sure that'll be the focus of the videos in the days ahead, to see whether we firm up on this chance of a change in the pattern between Christmas and New Year. So all eyes, I think, will be on that in the videos ahead. Tomorrow, we've got another week 10-day video update coming up for you. ECMWF 30-day look ahead tomorrow as well. That'll be the last one of the year, can you believe? So last ECMWF month-end look ahead for you tomorrow, and possibly a Christmas update as well, we shall see. But that's all for now, and thanks for watching.